In this video, I'm going to be building the best possible team for 1 million MT right now in NBA 2K23 My Team. If that's too much MT to spend on a squad, you guys can definitely go check out my other, cheaper squad builders that you guys can build. My best 100,000 MT team, my best 250k, and then my best 500,000 MT squad. If you guys want to go check out those videos, definitely go ahead and do so. And if a million MT is too much to spend, you guys will have more success of just, looking at those squads and able to build those type of teams. You'll find those videos a lot more helpful. But if you guys got a million MT to spend or want to look for the cards I can play on a million MT squad builder, this is going to be, if I had a million MT, the best team I can build in the game right now. So at the starting point guard position is going to be the Galaxy Hito Turkoglu, and it's going to be his hero version. He's an absolute elite 6'10" point guard, 6'11" wingspan. He's got great all-around stats and badges, but the main thing about Hito Turkoglu is going to be his jump shot with the John Stockton base, the Trae Young upper on very quick timing, and then he also does have the Kyle Lowry size up. He's got the Steph Curry escape, so he's got great dribble sigs and elite level jump shot that's super quick. And then offensively going to be great, being 6'10", great to get into the basket, and also going to be very solid defensively. At the starting shooting guard position, we are going to go with the Galaxy Ricky Davis, a really good offensive 2 to pair alongside Hito Turkoglu. Maybe not the best offense, or maybe not the best defense of the world in our backcourt, but we're going to have great offense and should be able to score the ball at a very high level, with Ricky Davis being 6'7" with a 6'10" wingspan. Yes, he's not a bad defender, but he's mainly going to be here for offense with a 97 driving dunk, 98 vertical, 95 speed, 95 acceleration. We take a look at his animations. He's got the Seth Curry base with the Oscar Robertson upper on very quick timing. Is such a good jump shot. Like, that Oscar upper really makes the world of difference. And then he also does have very solid dribble sigs, and he's only about like 60 to 65,000 MT right now, so going to be a great value shooting guard in the game. Now, talking about our small forward, I think to pair alongside Hito Turkoglu and Ricky Davis, the best small forward in the game to pair alongside those two cards, I do think is going to be AK-47. Now, I will say our bench might low-key be better than our starting lineup, because other than one man, which is going to be Taco Fall, most of the cards on our bench might actually be better than our starting lineup. So you can flip the bench if you want to, and I'll explain that more here in a second of why I have the better cards coming off the bench, just because it kind of has to do with Taco Fall, because you don't want to have two giants on the court, and we'll talk about that here in a second. But yeah, Taco Fall going to be our starting power forward. He's still around 250k, so going to eat up a decent amount of the budget, 1/4 of it, but still I think he's worth it for that price tag. 7'6" power forward with an 8'2" wingspan. At least on your starting lineup, you need that one tall giant that can guard the other Taco Falls, the Manute Bulls, the Yaos, even the Kristapses. These really tall cards in my team, the Bull Bulls, the Chets. You're going to need Taco Fall just for his size, his player model, his wingspan, and just of his mashing ability. So he's going to be our starting power forward. And then at the starting center position, a card that I feel like is kind of going under the rug and super good for his price tag, and that's going to be the Dark Matter Dirk Nowitzki, who's only about 200 to 225, and that's going to be extremely good value, at least in my opinion, for Dirk. He's going to be an amazing center card who's basically going to play power forward in game for us, because Taco is going to be guarding their center, so Dirk will basically be our power forward, and he's 7'1" with a 7'3" wingspan. And we know Dirk is going to be so elite on offense with a 99 3 ball, 99 mid-range, has almost every single Hall of Fame shooting badge in the game, and then also just great all-around stats. Maybe not the highest stats and badges for playmaking or defense, but still going to be a very solid defender. And he does have an elite level jump shot with the B Elites at base, the Tim Duncan upper on very quick timing. I absolutely love Dirk's release, and I think he's a great pick and pop for, we're playing him at the center position, but he's mainly going to be playing power forward in game. And yeah, I think this is going to be the best starting lineup for the 1 million MT squad builder. Now to talk about the bench, like I said, you could make a legit argument our bench might actually be stronger and better than our starting lineup. For our backup point guard is going to be the Galaxy Jalen Rose, and this card really just comes down to if you like his jump shot, because everything else he does at such a high level. A 6'8" point guard, 7' wingspan, stats and badges are super well rounded. He's got literally the best dribble sigs in the game with the Steve Francis size up, the Trae escape. He's got the quick drops off one. He's got the front clutches, so amazing dunk packages. And then he also does have a 92 on ball steal, 88 88 contest shot, 88 block shot for the defensive tendencies. But like I mentioned, it really just comes down to this jump shot, which in my opinion, I actually do like. I think it's a very solid release. Maybe not my favorite jump shot in the game, but I do think it's pretty easy to agree with. Sometimes does get a little bit weird load up animations, but I still think Jalen Rose going to be the best backup point guard for this specific squad. But now to talk about our backup 2, and this is where stuff does get a little bit, I wouldn't say confusing, I don't really know what the word would be, but this is where stuff gets a little bit more complicated. We're going to be going with the Galley Simple Big Z at the backup 2. And if you guys don't know who Big Z is, he's a 7'3" card with a 7'6" wingspan, and since he was in the out of position set, he's going to be able to play the small forward and shooting guard position, being 7'3". So he's going to be an absolute wild card to bring off the bench, and I think he's got great size at that shooting guard position, and you can really mess around with your lineup and run a whole different type of players because you got a 7'3" shooting guard who can basically guard the power forward in the center position, and he's going to play like a big, on the court. But the thing is, I think he's actually a better card than Ricky Davis. And then my backup small forward is going to be Scalabrine. So here's what I was thinking, is going to something like this, right? Starting Jalen Rose, starting Big Z, and starting Brian Scalabrine, and then bringing these 3 cards off the bench. I think that could work because I do like Scalabrine over AK. I like Big Z over Ricky Davis, and then I think Jalen Rose and Hedo Turkoglu is a really close debate. But now the problem is we're still gonna have great offense with Scalabrine, Jalen Rose. Like, they can still score the ball at an extremely high level, but do you want to have Taco Fall and Big Z on the court at the same time? I think you want to kind of separate the two because one, they're going to be a little bit slow together, and this lineup isn't going to be the best defensively because yes, we got some tall players, which is going to really help out on defense, but we're going to be a little bit slower with cards like Big Z, Taco. Dirk's not the fastest card in the game or the best defender, so that's why I think it's a little bit smarter to balance out the lineup. If you wanted to go for something like this, I think this could potentially work. This might be a little bit smarter. I'm gonna do this though for now. Have Hedo Turkoglu, Ricky Davis, AK starting at the 1, 2, and 3, and then bring Jalen Rose, Big Z, and Scalabrine off the bench. I mean, just to talk about this Scalabrine card, is he ever good for only about 100 to 125,000 MT? He's going to be such an elite small forward, being 6'9". His stats and his badges are pretty much perfect. You look at his animations, he's got such a good jump shot, is the exact same release as Jonathan Bender's, just going to be on very quick timing. And then he also does have this Steve Francis size up. He's got the tray escape, Dame behind the back, quick drops off one, front clutches, pretty much the perfect animations for a card. And then he also does have perfect defensive tendencies with a 98 on-ball steal, 98 contest shot, 98 block shot, also having a 95 driving dunk tendency. I mean, this card's basically the perfect small forward and an absolute beast for only about 100,000 MT. And then for a backup 4 is going to be another great hero card that surprisingly enough only goes for about 50 to 55k, and that's going to be the Galley Simple Hero Thurl Bailey. I think he's such a good small forward, 6'11" with a 7-foot wingspan. He gives you that defense, that size, that athleticism that I think we really need off the bench because Big Z a little bit slow. Brian Scalabrine actually a great defender in game, so I think we have a great mix of offense and a great mix of defense off the bench. And then to round it off at the backup center position, like I said, you can make an argument our bench has a lot better players on it because I'm going Marc Gasol, to play that backup center position. And the reason why he's not starting, over Dirk, even though I think he might be better at Dirk at the 5, because then you don't want to have Dirk at your backup center position next to Thurl Bailey. That's going to be a little bit undersized and really not the greatest defensively. So I do think Dirk's going to play a lot better alongside Taco, and then having Marc Gasol come off the bench, I think is going to be a really good pairing alongside Thurl Bailey. So in my opinion, guys, this is going to be the best team to build with 1 million MT. I think it's a great squad that you guys can take into Unlimited and compete against pretty much most squads in the game. You got some great offensive cards, you got great defense, you got the size. I just think this is like a perfect squad in my team and a really fun team to use as well. But let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys think about the squad, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.